Hello, this is Inside the Press Box with Sunil Sunder Raj for the Everyday Fan Sports. I'm happy to be speaking with Frank Moscatiello, pitcher for Equipe Quebec. Frank, thanks for taking some time out to speak with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
Happy to be here.
Frank, congrats. I was looking at your stats early on here in the Frontier League season for Keep Quebec. 2-0, I think, with a 1.45 ERA, 27 strikeouts, 5 runs with only 3 earned. Can you talk about this experience? Again, playing for Keep Quebec in the Frontier League. I said after last year, with the season getting shelved due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But be able to come back here, and this is not easy. I mean, all the games, I think you guys are on the road here, so it's quite
hmm
a challenge. But so far you guys have been able to do pretty well. Can you talk about it, Frank?
Yeah, so it's different than a normal season. Like this is my third official season, but could be considered my fourth because I got lucky enough to play in 2020. It's definitely different uh, because, like you said, we've been on the road since mid-May, early May. I believe spring training started like May 14th or 15th. So yeah, the borders are keeping us in the States right now. And it's just another opportunity to play ball. Like there's a lot of players that either got released because of COVID in 2020 from affiliated opportunities or just haven't found a job in indie ball yet. And I'm just very happy and thankful that I have the opportunity to play ball in 2021. Um, and it's a grind. It's tough being on the road, but like I said, it's another opportunity. I'm playing baseball, so I'm very thankful.
Hey, can you talk about the makeup of this team? With the lineup, with the pitching staff, playing. Of course, for manager Patrick Scalabrini, said who manage. Of course, the Quebec, Capitals. Just
hmm
what just how it's worked out with this team so far. It seems like you guys have a
Yes, so
pretty good roster there.
yes, so before I even get into like the play, we have an awesome group of guys. Probably half from Canada, half from the States, and then we have some guys from other places too. uh, which I think is awesome. Just being able to meet some of these guys, listen to their accents, and then learn about their lifestyles back home. Um, so we have some guys from Venezuela. We have a guy from Australia, which if it wasn't for baseball and this team and Patrick Scalabrini, I would have never met these guys.
Yeah.
So I think that that's awesome. Just learning lifestyles and their cultures and
Yeah.
stuff like that is amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's truly a global sport, Frank. When it comes down to it,
mhm,
when you really think about it now, with of course, with the Olympic Games coming up here, but
yeah,
that's definitely pretty cool there.
yeah. So going back to their play, I think everybody here is awesome. Like we have some guys that played affiliated ball and their opportunities got a little messed up because of COVID. Um, so they're trying to make it back into affiliated ball. There's some guys who are like me who haven't had the opportunity in affiliated ball yet and are trying to get our chance to show that we could play at the next level. And it's a bunch of grinders, like I was saying, it's tough being on the road. It's tough not having a home field, tough not playing home games, and just not having fans that are rooting for you at your park that you
Yeah,
see every day,
yeah,
So everybody's out here grinding. But we all love the game. It's we're not here for the money. We're not here for,
yeah,
because it's indie ball. After college, baseball is a grind, whether you're in double A, indie ball, low A, it's a grind until you get to the big leagues. And I could imagine that's still a grind as well, but it has its benefits. Once you get past the minor leagues or indie ball or wherever you've played, once you get to the big leagues, that's like that's the main goal.
yeah.
So that gets a little bit easier. But yeah, we're all grinding. We love being here. You know, um, like I said, I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to play ball because there's a lot of players that lot of great players that I know that don't have jobs right now because of COVID or stuff like that. So I'm happy I'm playing. I'm happy I'm with this group of guys, because if we didn't have a good group of guys, being on the road and being with each other 24/7 literally would be pretty tough.
Yeah.
Like, it's already tough being on the road, but being with these guys makes it a lot easier. We have an awesome group of guys, awesome coaching staff, awesome personnel that travel with us. So, like I said, I'm just blessed to have this opportunity.
Yeah, I think being on the road, said you have that chemistry. It brings that team bonding. Said even closer together. I'm wondering, before the season started, Frank, what Patrick Scalabrini's message was to you guys, and in terms, when you guys, training for this season. I mean, unprecedented for you guys again, to be on the road the entire season. I mean, it's I can't imagine what that is like. I mean, going, so from, state to state and from hotel to hotel. Can you just talk about that? What, he said to you guys, said before the regular season started?
Yeah, so in the preseason, it was very, very stressful, because we weren't sure if we were A, going to get a season, B, going to have a season on the road, or be half in Canada, half here. So Scal really didn't know either. He was as stressed as we were, if not more. So whatever messages he got, he gave to us whenever he got the chance. I know for the guys in Canada, it was probably tough crossing the border. And even for us, like, just wondering if we were gonna have a season or not. Because if we weren't having a season, then we would have had to scramble to find another team. And at that point, a lot of teams probably had their rosters filled. So that would have been tough. But Scout did a very good job at giving us messages whenever he found out. So once we found out that we were going to have a season, it was very stress relieving. So that was good.
Hey, can you talk about your individual, performances here? I mean, you said again, you've done very well on the mound. I'm just I wanted to get into that, just as far as training for this season, and so far, you said the results have definitely showed on the mound, Frank.
Yeah, so this season I'm a back of the bullpen end guy,
Okay.
Like a setup type role, and I love that role. Whatever role is going to get me on the field, I'll take it. Starter, reliever, closer, whatever I'm told, I'm going to go do. I just take it one day at a time, one outing at a time. Just a quote that I've been really following is just control what I can control. Can't control the weather, can't control where I am, can't control who's watching, but numbers talk. So that's really, I'm just going out there trying to give myself the best numbers, the best stats I can to try to persuade affiliates and scouts to pick me up at the end of the season, or even midway through whenever I get the opportunity. But until that's not something that I could control. What I can control is my preparation, my health, and just doing a job on the field. So I've just been trying to go out and give my team the best opportunity to win. If I come in with runners on base, try to help out the previous pitcher by getting out of a jam, because I know that when I was a starter and I would come out with runners on base, that'd be very stressful. And you really got to trust your relievers, because that happens a lot.
Yeah.
You come out in the seventh inning and you have a lot of pitches, and come out of the game with two runners on base and one out, and you put in a reliever and you really want them to get out of that jam. They want to help you out. So that's one of my main goals. If I come in with runners on base, I have to get out of it. I can't let those runs score, because those don't go against my stats. Those go against my teammates' stats.
Yeah.
So that's one of my main goals. But like I said, just control what I can control and give my team the best opportunity to win.
Yeah. They talk about being, a physical game, when it comes to baseball, but also a mental part as well. It plays such a critical part. I had to ask you about
Hmm.
that, Frank, and just as far as you preparing, for game day and for pitching, said on that certain day, like what goes into that method as well for you.
Yeah, so I think the mental aspect of baseball is very overlooked. Like you said, it's a very mental game along with the physical part. Um, Going into an outing, uh, as a reliever, it's a little different than as a starter because as a reliever, you got to be ready to pitch every day.
Yeah.
Um, so you got to be locked in all day, um, and even up until your outing. At this point in the season, we kind of know our roles
Hmm.
and like when we have to be ready in the bullpen. Uh, so that's when we could really lock ourselves in and be ready to go. But leading up to a game, I wake up. I don't eat breakfast right away. I need to wake up a little bit, maybe like an hour or so.
Hmm.
Then I'll go and I'll eat breakfast. But that's also tough because we have to rely on what's around the hotel or what's near the stadium when we get to the stadium. Because we go to the stadium a couple hours before the game, probably like 3 or 4 hours before the game. Um, so whatever food industries are around the hotel, walking distance, DoorDash, Uber Eats, that's what we really rely on.
Yeah.
Uh, so I like to eat and then I just like to relax. I don't really do much before the game, but then at the game, we'll hang out. We'll take BP. We'll get our throwing in. Then from then on, it's just lock in. You got to pay attention to the other team, what the hitters do. We usually have a scouting report on each team, so we'll talk to our manager, our pitching coach, and he'll say, "Hey, this guy he likes to hit the inside pitch, or so throw him away. This guy will shift on, so we're going to throw into the shift, or this guy can't hit off speed pitches, so." that that helps us. I have a little notebook that if we like a little personal notebook that if we have a certain scouting report, I'll write down little notes
Hmm.
that I'll be able to tell myself before I go into the game. Um, but also I like to think about if I'm gonna get beat, I want to get beat with my strengths. I don't want to try to change my game to go to some of the hitter's weaknesses if I don't feel like those are my strengths or that's where I feel comfortable. If I want to get beat, I'm going to get beat with my best pitch.
Yeah.
So that's the scouting reports definitely help though. I'm definitely a fan of that stuff.
No, great points you made. And I wanted to ask you also about, being on the same page with your catchers as well. That's important, having that connection, having that chemistry as well. I wanted to ask you, I mean, again, just, so far, again, it's worked out for you. If you want to just, just describe that as well,
Mhm.
Frank.
Yeah, no, I definitely give a lot of credit to my catchers when I pitch after every bullpen, after every start, if I get one, after every outing, I dap up my catcher. I give him a fist pound. I give him a hug. I say, "Thank
Mhm.
you, bro. Like I really
Yeah.
appreciate like you keep me in there because without them, it's tough."
Yeah.
And we have some great catchers on this team. We have catcher that played for Team Puerto Rico in the Olympics or the Olympic team.
Mhm.
We have a catcher that plays or used to play for the Giants. He was with them for a couple of years. And we have another catcher that was a D1 player that graduated a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So all three of them are awesome. The very good connections with all three of them, and that helps a lot. Very approachable. They know the game. So if you have a question about how your pitches were moving or something like that,
Yeah.
they could help you out. I think the best pitching coaches are catchers because that's all they do.
Yeah.
They watch pitchers throw all day and they've seen me throw. I think I have 15 appearances, so seen me throw on 15 separate occasions.
Mhm.
So if I do something different with my mechanics or a certain way I throw a different pitch, they'll notice it right away.
Yeah.
So they could be the best pitching coaches, which I think is awesome. Having good catchers is very uh, it it helps it helps me because knowing that they have my back is again, it just so much brings a lot of stress off my back,
Yeah.
off my shoulders. And they're very good with throwing guys out, so it helps with the control the running game. So that it's awesome. My catchers, I give them a lot of credit.
That's great. I'm wondering, what are there any moments said that have stood out so far? I said I know we're only in July, but just about 2 months in. But anything that has been memorable as far as a win or just on the road. I mean, because it said that this is I mean, again with you guys, no home games. So like, I'm just wondering what if something is definitely is stuck with you so far.
So far, I think some of the coolest things that I'll never forget were the home run derbies. We've been a part of two of them.
Okay.
They were early on. We were 1-1,
Mhm.
but just I think it'd be cool if we had got a home run derby at the home stadium
Yeah.
because we would have the fans rooting for us. But even just watching these guys take BP and try to hit home runs, like even the away team guys, like it's so cool seeing how far these guys could hit the ball.
Yeah.
And the vibes during the home run derby are pretty good. Just because we're all just rooting on our guys. It just shows how closely knit we are and how much we have each other's backs.
Yeah.
And I think the home run derbies are pretty cool. Those are probably some of the things that I'll never forget because it's new.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it definitely adds another dimension, Sid, to that playing the extra innings. I want to go back to 2020, Frank. That you played in the All-American Baseball Challenge, I believe, for the New York Brave, and then also I was looking at your background. I think also for Washington, the Eansor Baseball Confederacy. But for the Brave, I mean, you were able to. I mean, a short amount again. What they played about 20 plus games. I think you had a 1.74 ERA and then 18 strikeouts. I'm sure that was really, essential for you, to get, the innings on the mound because knowing, of course, you weren't going to have a regular season, in the Frontier League or another league, for you that was, definitely important, to keep yourself fresh, in 2020.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, like I said, I was blessed to be able to play during the year 2020. A lot of guys in minor league ball and indie ball didn't get that opportunity. So big thank you to the Washington Wild Things who gave me my first opportunity in 2020. Unfortunately, that got shut down a little more than halfway through. And then one of my college coaches, Andrew Romanella, was the manager of the New York Brave, and he reached out to me even before we got said that if anything happens over there, if I'm not happy or I want to just come home because it was about 10 hours away from home that I have a spot with him. So once we got shut down, I don't even think I waited till the next day. I think as soon as we found that out, I gave him a call. I was like, "Hey, Romo, you still have a spot for me? Like we just got shut down." He's like, "Yeah, show up on Saturday." So I was lucky enough to have him bring me into his team, and it was a lot of fun. Like I said, it was just another opportunity to play ball instead of going 2 years without pitching to batters. Then I got the opportunity. So what's up, Nick?
That's great. I just wanted to ask you, I have a couple more. Can't thank you for the time, Frank. I said you have experience, of course, pitching in the CanAm League, American Association, even I think the Frontier with the Southern Illinois Miners going back to 2018 and 19. I had to ask you about those times, what they meant to you, especially, we talked about before coming on the air about, pitching for then, the Rockland Boulders, of course, now the New York Boulders, but in the Can-Am League, a couple stints with the Boulders, pitching at Palisades, creating you part. But can you talk about how important those, experiences were for you, translating, again, to what you've been able to do now up to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first professional opportunity was with the Rockland Boulders, and it was cool because for college I got to pitch at the Palisades Credit Union Park for 4 years. So it was kind of like a nice match made right there. The guys there were awesome. I had a lot of veteran guys. I had some MLB experience, some high minor league experience. So I learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
I had an ex teammate in college that played for them as well. So he helped me out. He showed me the ropes of pro ball. So that was good. Yeah, they actually messed with me a lot because I asked a lot of questions because I wanted to try to learn some of the things that they knew because they had a lot of opportunities behind them in their past and they've been around the game for longer than me. So
Yeah.
I like to ask questions. I like to pick people's brains just because if that could help me in some way, you know. So my first opportunity was with the Rockland Boulders in 2018. Then that was under Jamie Keefe.
Yeah.
He was an awesome manager. I'm still in touch with him.
Sure.
I'm very thankful that he brought me on. So then after that, in 2019, I got invited back for spring training, and I actually got released from there. I had a tough outing, and we had a new manager. He released me. I definitely would have released myself as well. I didn't have a great outing. So after that, I wasn't sure what was going to happen because that was my first release in pro ball or in anything. So I went back home, only an hour and a half away. I live in Long Island, so it wasn't too far. Uh, I talked to a couple people that I knew. I talked to Jamie Keefe because I asked him. I was like, "What do you think I should do?" Like, I just got released. He's like, "Just keep throwing. Like, something will work out." Like, all right. So I went home. I threw like a bullpen with one of my buddies a couple days later, and then I got a call from the manager of the Gary South Shore Railcats in the American Association, Greg Taggart, and he asked me to come out to Indiana and play for his organization. So I went out there. I played a couple months. Did all right. It was a very tough league. I was still new to pro ball. They played against some pretty cool, pretty big name guys. One that sticks out to me is Carlos Zambrano. I played against him. He was with the Chicago Dogs. I played against Keon Barnum, who was a ex first rounder. There was another guy who won a World Series with the Red Sox a couple years back. Can't remember his name, but he was a ex big leaguer. Played against him. Played against Reggie Abercrombie, who for a while had the record for the farthest home run hit at Cincinnati Red Stadium. So that's just playing against these big name guys is so cool, and I'll never forget some of these names. I mean, I forgot the Red Sox guy's name, but but it'll come back to me.
Yeah.
I'll never forget those opportunities.
Yeah.
So after a little while, after a couple months playing with them, we weren't making playoffs. We struggled that year. But the manager of the Southern Illinois Miners reached out to my current manager, Greg Taggart, with the Railcats and asked if he had a starting pitcher that he could send over to help them with the playoff push. So he traded me to the Southern Illinois Miners, and I played with them for a month. I think I had 4 starts. I think I had about 20 innings, if I remember correctly. That was my first taste of the Frontier League. And then after that, I finished the season with them. We unfortunately missed playoffs by 1 game. So I got traded back to the Railcats after that season. And then from there, we were headed into the 2020 season. And my current manager, Pat Scalabrini, he traded for me, or he somehow obtained me from the Railcats. And I was supposed to be with Quebec in 2020. But then 2020 happened, COVID, all that stuff. And didn't get to play. But then Scal told me that for 2020 and COVID reasons, if I have the opportunity to play somewhere, play. It won't affect my rights or where I'm signed for 2020 or anything like that. And he said that he would like to discuss possibly signing me for 2021. And then that's what happened. And now I'm here, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to play for him and just play ball. Like I said, it's another opportunity to show that I could still play ball and I could play at the affiliate level if I get that opportunity. But like I said, I'm playing baseball. I'm doing what I love, and that's what I'm happy about.
Yeah, I was
I
thinking
want to
that.
play this game for as long as possible.
Yeah, no,
So
that's terrific. Hey, that first year with the Boulders, you posted some solid stats. Frank, I think what 2.79 ERA, you won 4-3 and 64 strikeouts. I think you even had 4 saves. Said in that year. I mean, so that must have been really special. Again, at Palisades Trading Park, to put up those numbers and knowing the Boulders, said. Under Jamie Keefe, going to the playoffs, I think 6 years in a row, 5 or 6 years in a row was to experience, playoff baseball, especially there, in the CanAm League was a lot of fun. I wanted to ask you also about St. Thomas Aquinas College. I said I was looking at your stats, major in special education, K through 6 and the minor English, but those junior, senior years, I mean, you put up some incredible numbers there. Can you talk about your time there at St. Thomas Aquinas College?
yeah, so I loved it there. Like I said, same circumstances as with the team right now. It's the guys that you're around and like the teammates that you make, the friendships that you make is what makes any school or any team like memorable. And I made some great friendships, and I'm still in touch with probably more than half of the guys that I've played with over there, of all the ages, and that made being at Stack a great time. We were also very good. We went to the College World Series, the D2 College World Series in 2017. Made it to regionals every year. I think each year we were about one game out of going to the College World Series. So that was just awesome. It was a small school. I came from a small high school, Rocky Point High School in Long Island, New York. So I was used to the small classes and stuff like that. So I think I found a great fit. I got my degree, got to play ball, and now I have the opportunity to play professionally. And hopefully one day I get to play in affiliate ball and then work my way up to the big leagues. Because if I didn't believe that I had the ability to do so, then I probably wouldn't be playing indie ball. Because it's, like I said, it's a grind and getting a little bit older. And but if I didn't believe that I had the ability to play at the major league level, then I probably wouldn't be playing indie ball. But every year I get to play indie ball, and put up numbers, it shows me that, hey, like, you could do this. And it's a little kick in the butt saying, hey, keep going, like, you got this. So
I didn't want to forget also, I think you also played in the Futures Collegiate Baseball League as well for Worcester. Can you talk about that as well, Frank?
That was awesome. So many great memories there. You got treated like a big leaguer. The Worcester Bravehearts is a great organization, and there's a couple guys after me that went to Stack that also played there that I recommended. They reach out, and I talked to the owners and stuff there. I'm still in touch with a bunch of the guys that I played with, and even the personnel that worked there. You got treated like a big leaguer. Like they had great facilities that you could use. We played at Holy Cross College. Their field is beautiful. They got a bunch of fans. My first opportunity pitching for the Worcester Bravehearts was in 2015, I believe. And I threw in front of 5,000 fans. I've never thrown in front of a crowd like that before in my life. And I just thought words can't describe that place. It was just an unreal experience, and I wish I could continue playing there. But I'll always recommend old teammates and buddies to try to play there because of the way you're treated and the way the fans look at you, and just the area, the host families. That's a big thing as well. I got an amazing host family. They pretty much gave me my own half of the house. You know, like they gave me a room with TV, bed, all the regular stuff, but I had my own bathroom. They always had food in the house. They had drinks. They asked me like, hey, like what are your favorite snacks? You like fruit, you like Gatorade, water, what do you need?
Yeah.
Always had that. They were amazing host family. Not sure if they are still a host family. If they are, then anybody that gets to live with them they really get the hook up. They had a real big dog. I'm a big dog guy. So when they're at work, I would hang out with the dog. I'd watch TV on there in the living room. Just everything I needed to feel comfortable. They did it for me.
Yeah.
They also once my family met them, we somehow found out down the line of our family tree that somehow, I don't know what the connection is, but we were related.
Oh, wow.
Or like we
Okay.
knew like family of family, and like we were connected in some way.
Yeah.
So I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
I lived with them for I think 2.5 summers, because my freshman summer I played in the Hamptons League. That's where I started.
Okay.
And then I got promoted at the end of the year to the Futures League with the Worcester Bravehearts. And that was like my tryout for the Future League, for the future summers. And from that, I got the opportunity to play there for my sophomore summer and my junior summer. And it was awesome. So 2.5 summers playing with the Worcester Bravehearts, living with, the name were Carol and Mike Ciccarelli.
Okay.
They were an awesome host family. They also just made everything a lot of fun. Off days, I remember one time, my second year with them, either my second or third, I'm not sure. We went to an escape room. So we got to hang out with them, and they were cool about it, and they were just a lot of fun. We went to they brought me to Boston. We explored the city. We went on a tour of Fenway, and we learned about all the history about Fenway. And they just made living with them away from my own family a lot more comfortable. So I thank them. I thank the whole organization of the Bravehearts. I'll never forget those years.
Yeah.
Oh, really good.
That's great. I know you gave shout out to your alma mater, Rocky Point High School. I mean, what were your times there? I know it's a long time ago, but how good was it? I said attending the school, and then of course obviously playing.
Mm-hmm.
I said on the baseball team. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so like I said, the guys that you play with, teammates, you'll have friendships forever. I have friends that I call family now, because I played with them for so long, and just baseball, it's just a certain connection that you make with your teammates that you'll never forget. I have a couple buddies that are still playing college ball that I consider family. He was actually my catcher for 2 years, I believe. His older brother graduated with me, and their family is one of the best. Like I'll never have anything bad to say about that family. They helped me out with some tough times throughout high school, and that's the Strovink family. One of them, the older brother, is currently a gym teacher at Pat Med, and he deserves everything. His story is insane. His dad played at LSU, played for the Pirates. The younger brother, Kyle, he is a current catcher in college. He just finished his undergrad, and he's going to grad school at Southeastern. And I think he's one of the best catchers I've ever thrown to. Me and him had a certain connection that in high school, he had probably one of the best arms on a catcher I've ever seen. And still, I can't tell what his best attribute is, because he's such a good hitter, but his arm is unreal. And in high school, nobody stole off of us because I had a very quick pickoff move and his very strong arm. If somebody got first, they were going to stay there unless the ball was put in play. Like we weren't getting anybody stealing on us. But yeah, back to Rocky Point high school days. A long time ago. I think I graduated in 14. So was that 7 years ago?
Yeah.
I played under Andrew Eschatino, who my mom actually works for Rocky Point High School.
Okay.
She's the head of the special ed department, district coordinator for the high school. And I used to go to baseball camps when I was younger, because I didn't live in Rocky Point my whole life.
Okay.
So because my mom worked there, she knew the varsity coach, and he said that I could come to camps and practice with them. Then from there, he said, "Hey, like, let's make a move." So for my mom to work at Rocky Point, she moved closer to the district, and then I actually moved to Rocky Point High School so that I could play ball there. And then I'm still in touch with the head coach, Andrew Eschatino. He's like an uncle to me. He's like another dad. Consider him family. Still in touch with him. I actually I give pitching lessons at a facility that he gives hitting lessons with. So I went from playing for him to pretty much coaching with him. So it's went full circle, and I think it's really cool just how baseball works and how life works. Some of the connections and the friendships and family that I go through with baseball and I meet, I think it's awesome. And without baseball, I don't know what I would be doing.
Yeah, no, that's true. A couple of my final questions were going to be about what makes the game of baseball so special to play. And you talked about the connections, and then of course support from family. You talked about your
Absolutely.
mom, but just what that has meant to you, along this journey in baseball as well, Frank.
Yeah, so I have probably the most supportive family that I've ever seen. They support me with no matter what I do. Baseball has been a huge part of my life, a huge part of their life. So going into travel ball and college, professional, I'm happy that they support me, because without support, it's a grind, and they make it so much easier. I've never missed a practice, never missed a game, and it's all because of them. They've driven me to everything, always on time. I'm very grateful for them. My mom, my dad, my grandpa, who passed away a couple of years ago. He was number one supporter, and I know he's still watching me. So I try to make them proud. I try to make myself proud, because I've been doing this game for so long. And like I said before, if I didn't believe that I had the ability to play at the major league level or at the next level, I probably wouldn't be doing this anymore. But I love this game, and my dad still tells me to this day, where I'm considered a professional, I'm getting paid to play. He says the second you stop having fun playing ball is when you retire and you move on with your life. And every day he asks me, he's like, "Hey, you still having fun? You still enjoying it?" I said, "Yeah, I love this game." And there's so many memories with my family in baseball that I'll never forget, whether it's going to Cooperstown or as early as when I was 2 years old, my grandpa's throwing me little wiffle ball golf balls at the top of his driveway, and I'm hitting them across the street. And there's just so many memories that I'll never forget just because of this game. I'm wondering how supportive my family is.
That's wonderful. I'm wondering, when you were growing up, Frank, were there any other sports you played, or was it, just primarily, baseball?
I played every sport there
Played
is.
every sport.
In high school, I was baseball, basketball, played football for a little bit. I was actually a kicker for a little bit.
Okay.
I was a cornerback or a slot receiver until we changed our offense, and then I was just a kicker.
Okay.
And I realized I'd being 5'8", under 200 pounds, I'm probably not going to go to college for football. So, and that's the same thing with basketball. Great. I thought I was awesome at basketball, but 5'8", usually not going to play college basketball. So, but I played soccer my entire life. I did a little bit of wrestling, some lacrosse, any sport. I love being outdoors. I love being active, and I still do. Anybody calls me, hey, you want to go play some two-hand touch? Yeah, sure, I'll go play. You want to go play some pickup basketball? Yeah, sure. I love being active, and I think that contributed to my athleticism and my play on the field with baseball now, because it taught me how to be an athlete. There's one lesson that I've learned, and I'll always tell people, young kids, like, play every sport you can. Be active, because if you're just playing baseball, your body's gonna grow muscles for baseball. If you're playing basketball, you're jumping, you're running side to side, you're running forward and back. If you're playing soccer, you're doing long distance running, and you're learning how to use different muscles that you wouldn't unlock during a baseball game. So it makes you like the complete athlete, and it helps you in the long run. Because if you have to make an athletic movement on the field of baseball, or you have to make an awkward throw off balance, like, your body's used to being athletic and moving in different ways. So I think just being an athlete, playing every sport you can at a young age, is like it's like a little secret, a little secret tool that you could use to help you. You want to be better at baseball, play other sports.
That was going to be one of my final questions, was what advice you have for the younger kids and athletes out there. So I think you pretty much answered that question, Frank. Hey,
and then one specific quote that actually, again, my dad's told me is, it's great for baseball, it's great for sports, and it's awesome for life, is you never know who's watching. And there's been many opportunities like this where you'll be sitting in the stands somewhere. And one specifically actually happened this year. I was sitting in the stands, I was doing charts, and I was sitting next to some guys that I played against, and we're just talking about other guys on the team and just how good these guys are, and like some of their guys' history. And the guy next to me, I was sitting on the stairs because I was doing the radar gun right behind home plate. And the guy in the seat next to me, because of COVID and stuff, like, I wasn't sure if this guy would allow me to sit next to him. So I sat in the stairs. He's like, hey man, like, if you want, like, come sit down next to me. I said, all right, cool. Like, thank you. Like, I appreciate that. And start having conversation with him. And long story short, he was a scout for an MLB team. So if I was acting like an a-hole or being disrespectful and stuff like that, like, it would have been a red X next to my name. But because I was talking to my buddies and we were being very respectful to each other and the other teammates and players, then it helps, like, you never know who's watching. And even if, like, young kids are walking around the mall or something like that, like, you never know who's watching, whether it's for a job in the future, or even like somebody for baseball is watching you. Like, you get seen by somebody and just so happen to be a college coach, and then they hear the name, like, oh, go watch Frank, and they don't know who you are, and then they see you on the field and they're like, oh, I saw that kid in the mall the other day, he was causing havoc, like, we don't want him. Like, his actions off the field are also very important for college coaches and scouts to see what type of person you are, because they don't want to bring someone that's going to potentially mess up the connection of the team, or not get good grades and get kicked off the team, or cause problems, So just like the type of person you are is very important. So one of the best quotes that my dad's ever given me is, you never know who's watching. And that goes for sports and life in general.
Well said. Hey, I was wondering, any pitchers in Major League Baseball that you followed, said, for quite a long time, or, just me this
So
season.
my favorite pitcher of all time was Mariano Rivera. I liked how simple his delivery was, how confident he was on the mound.
Yeah.
Um, uh, you could never tell. Like I loved the closer role. I think that's probably my favorite role on the field as a pitcher. Um, and he just conducted himself in such a professional manner. Him and Derek Jeter was my idol growing up because you never heard about him getting in trouble with anything, with the law, or with girls or clubs or anything like that. He always conducted himself in such a professional manner, and he was a role model. Uh, so Derek Jeter was my all-time favorite player. Mariano Rivera was a big role model as well. But I also am a very big fan of Pedro Martinez because he was also eventually he was on a New York team, the Mets, but he's an undersized guy who had confidence as if he was 6'8". Like he was the great pitcher. Like he had big velocity, great off speed, and he was just one of the best pitchers of all time. And he was probably about 5'7", 5'8". So that just shows that he was like the first guy probably that I've seen undersized just dominate the Major League Baseball. Him and then Marcus Stroman, who's from Long Island, a couple towns over from me. I've actually met him a couple times. We played for the same organization, same coach, never on the same team because he's a couple years older than me, but he was a big influence on me because like I said, he's an undersized pitcher that just conducts himself in a professional manner. And he's just undersized. And it's actually cool because I coached his younger brother in the fall, this past fall. So I coached him, and I thought the coolest thing about his younger brother, his name is Jaden Stroman. He's going into 9th grade this year, I believe. And the coolest thing about him, and I'll say one really cool thing and then one funny thing about the team, is you could never know that his brother was a major leaguer. Like he's not cocky. He doesn't talk about how he was at the home run derby or he's friends with people like Josh Donaldson, stuff like that. And then something I found really funny about the team that I coached was these guys are so like social media is huge with young guys. And Jaden, his brother's a major leaguer. So I think that would make him kind of famous. Like people would be like, oh, like that's Stroman's younger brother. Yeah. But like there would be times where we would show up to a tournament and we would see like our teams all huddled up. They'd be like on their phone. They'd be looking at like a certain player and be like, oh, that shortstop over there, that's so-and-so. He's TikTok famous. And they'd all laugh about it. And I'd be sitting there. I'd be like, really? Like, do you realize like your brother is a major leaguer? Like you're the one that's famous. Like, and I just thought that was so like interesting and funny. Like, but we had a great group of guys. Like a couple of these guys are going to be big leaguers one day. And they were only in 8th grade, 13 years old. So I that was one of my first coaching experiences. I was actually the assistant coach. I coached with a guy that I played with when I was really young and I played against in college. And then we gave lessons together at the facility that we work at. And then he asked me to coach with him. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll hop on. I'll coach with you. It was right after the 2020 season. We coached in the fall together.
That's great. Hey, I think, so you definitely, I see you being down the road, like, even after it's all said and done, being a coach and a manager, Frank. I mean, the knowledge and the expertise that you possess is just remarkable. So I'm sure that
absolutely, I want to stay around the game for as long as possible, whether it's being a scout one day or coaching, manager or something like that. I love the game. I just want to be around it for as long as possible. I want to play it for as long as I can. As long as I keep getting people to pay me, I'm going to play.
That's the name of the game. Okay, Frank, the floor is yours. If there's anything I've left out, you're more than welcome to add here.
Well, just a message for all if there's any young players. I'm a 5'7" pitcher, 5'8" sometimes with cleats on if I stretch that morning, and the odds are built against me. And they've been against me my entire life. I've been told like, oh, like you're too small, or you're not going to make it because of this and that. And there's going to be people that tell you that all throughout your life. You can't let it get to you. You use it as motivation. I knew that going to showcases and stuff like that, I wasn't one of the guys that walks up to the sign-in table and people go, "Whoa, we got to watch this guy," because I wasn't one of the bigger guys. They looked for that 6 foot plus lefty, and I'm not that. I'm the opposite. 5'7", 5'8". I've been that since I was in ninth grade, and I'm never that projectable player. But you can't let that get to you. You gotta use that as motivation. And whenever I was told like, oh, like you're not big enough, you're not gonna make it, you're not this, you're not that, I use that as motivation to work extremely hard in the gym and let my play do the talking for me. I'm never a cocky player. I don't talk smack. I let my play and my presence on the field do the talking for me, because maybe I don't have a bunch of people watching me when I step on the mound first, but once they hear my name or they know how I'm doing or they hear that first love pop when I throw the ball, then that's when you turn heads.
Yeah.
So pretty much my message for the younger guys is don't let anybody tell you can't do something. And I know people have heard that over and over again, but take Stroman for example. He was a first rounder. He played at Duke. You know, he's 5'8", 5'9". I think he's a little bit taller than me, but he had all the odds built against him, and he's a big leaguer. And I'm trying to follow in his shoes, but take a little bit of a different route, you know, because I played at a Division II school, and I'm playing indie ball right now. He was at Duke, and he was a first rounder. So, but I'm trying to follow right behind him, just in a different route, you know. So don't let anybody tell you you can't do anything. Don't let stereotypes keep you down. Another quote that I've heard is a lion doesn't lose sleep over the voices of sheep. So go out there, be a lion, be lion-hearted. Don't give up, work extremely hard. And if you truly love this game, put everything to it. And that's even anything, not only just this game, in life. There's going to be people that tell you can't do something because of who you are, or what you look like, or what your body's like, or where you came from even. People are going to doubt you. Yeah. But if you truly want something, put your all in it. Don't live life with regret. You know, like there's going to be a ton of people that go through life and they say, oh, I should have done this. I could have done this. I would have done this. Don't let that happen, because once you get older, you can't go back in time. Yeah. You got to put it all in right now. Yeah. So that's my one message to everybody.
You could be a motivational speaker as well.
I've learned that from a lot of motivational guys.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hey, Frank, absolutely a true honor and privilege, you know, interviewing you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and, you know, wishing you continued success again with Quebec, you know, I said here in the Frontier League, and, you know, looking forward to seeing what you do again, you know, I said here moving forward.
Well, I appreciate you letting me on your show. Thank you very much. It was awesome. It was awesome talking with you and seeing you again.
Same here. Thank you.